Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something powerful, a guide for, well, unlocking your best self. Our main source is Jordan Tarver's book, You Deserve This Shti, Get Unstuck, Find Your Path, and Become the Best Version of Yourself. Quite a title,
It
right?
really is, and it delivers.
So Tarver's core idea, what we'll unpack today, it really boils down to three key pillars: awareness, comfort zones, and intentional living. Think of this whole deep dive as like a helpful nudge, something to help you not just get these ideas, but actually use them to, grab the life you deserve.
It's a great way to frame it, and what's really cool is how Tarver's own story isn't just background noise, it's woven right in. I mean, here's a guy with a finance degree, but he does something pretty different. Takes off for 3 months, solo backpacking in Europe.
Wow, solo.
Yeah, he calls it his intensive masterclass in life, just navigating totally new places all alone. And that single decision, that leap, it basically redefined him. Sets the whole stage, really.
That's a perfect lead-in to our first pillar then. Awareness. Recognizing what's happening. Now, when Tarver talks awareness, it's not some like floaty concept. It's practical. It's about really seeing what's going on around you in your own head, your feelings, and figuring out what truly inspires you, what you actually want to chase after.
Exactly. And the first step he really hammers home, journaling. He calls it the magnifying glass into your own life, which is, I think, a fantastic way to put it.
A magnifying glass.
Hmm.
Okay, so how do you start using it?
Well, one exercise he suggests is called verbal vomit. Simple rules.
Sounds pleasant.
Huh. Yeah, but it works. You just write, don't think, don't edit, just get it all out, anything and everything. And he says this kind of raw dump often leads to these aha moments, these self-discoveries. Plus, it's just an ultimate release.
Okay, so unfiltered thoughts, but what about building something more positive from that?
Right. That leads into his gratitude journaling practice, something he learned from his brother, actually, Evan. And it's super quick, like 2 or 3 minutes a day.
Okay, I can manage that. What do you write?
5 specific things. Something grateful for from yesterday, something today, one thing you're looking forward to today, someone you appreciate from your childhood, and this is interesting, one tiny, insignificant thing right there in front of you.
Oh, an insignificant item. Why that?
It grounds you in the present, I think, makes you notice the small stuff, but that's not even the final step.
This must be the sixth step, the positive affirmations.
You got it. The last piece is writing the same positive affirmation every single day. Could be simple, like I'm happy and successful, or maybe more specific, like his example, I wake up to live a creative life and empower others. You know, that kind of thing.
And the repetition is key, right? It's like training your brain.
Precisely. It starts to rewire things.
Okay, so that's the writing part. But then he shifts focus to actually noticing things in the moment. Noticing everything, even the small things.
I love that grape exercise story from his mindfulness class. Can you walk us through that? It's more than just eating a grape, isn't it? Oh, absolutely. So imagine everyone in the class just focusing intensely on one single grape. Feeling it, the temperature, the texture, the taste, even the tiny sound it makes when you bite into it.
Right, hyper-focused.
Yeah. And Tarver says that final burst of flavor when you bite down, it's symbolic. It can represent releasing stress or like breaking through feeling overwhelmed or even that rush of joy when you're doing something you love.
Wow.
It's basically micro training for awareness, proves how much power is in small moments if you just, well, pay attention. Build self-awareness too.
And that awareness helps you adapt to your surroundings. He gives signals, right? Signs life might be nudging you.
Key things to watch for, like when something makes you question your whole identity, or when you feel stuck, like progress is just flatlining, or your routine feels totally stale, boring, or maybe you're just plain unhappy.
Those are pretty clear signs.
And he frames change not as scary, but as a gift, a chance for a fresh start. The message is really about trusting the universe, trusting that nudge, believing you're worthy of its guidance. You just need to be aware enough to catch the signal.
Trusting the universe. That can feel a bit abstract for some people, maybe. Does he give ways to, like, build that trust? Especially when you're full of doubt? That advice, when in doubt, close your eyes. That seems relevant here. Stillness and silence.
Definitely. He talks about things like gratitude meditation. And it's active, not passive. You sit in total silence, focusing only on gratitude. Blocking out the problems for just a few moments, it helps you see what you've been taking for granted.
Okay, that feels more concrete.
And then there's manifestation meditation. He tells this story about a young guy who wanted to be a writer, used guided meditation every day to visualize it. And through that process, he didn't just dream, he actually started uncovering specific steps he needed to take.
So the visions actually led to action.
Exactly. The book puts it like, dreams and visions within their heads became their everyday realities. Consistent effort makes it real. Looking inward reveals the path, makes that trust feel, well, tangible.
Okay, so once we have that awareness dialed in, where do we go? That leads us to part 2, comfort zones, where the magic happens. Tarver is so clear here. Everything in life begins to flourish outside our comfort zones. That's where the magic happens. And he says, trusting yourself is the first step in recognizing your full potential. That feels huge.
It is huge. And a big piece of this is learning to reject the normal. You know, society pushes you to fit in, follow the expected path, but he challenges you to choose the life you want.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. And he's honest about it. When you go against the grain, expect some pushback. He calls it haterade.
Haterade, love it.
Yeah. Negativity, doubters, people skeptical of what you're doing. But here's the twist. He says that's often a sign you're doing something right. It's fueled by their own stuff, maybe envy or insecurity.
Okay, but dealing with that haterade, it can be tough, can't it? How do you actually navigate that beyond just seeing it as a good sign? Any tools?
The main tool is inside you, your own conviction. He uses this powerful historical example, this young boy who grew up, got his PhD super young, like 25, and became this major advocate for nonviolent protest. He didn't care what people thought. Why?
Why?
Because he knew his calling to create unity. That inner knowing was his shield. So the message is, trust your gut, trust yourself. That's your compass through the negativity.
That's really powerful and so needed when you're starting something new, feeling totally lost.
Yeah.
Which brings us to give yourself permission to be a beginner. Tarver's own story about starting music is so relatable. Buys all the gear, sets up a studio, then feels totally vulnerable and frightened. He almost quit right away. What pulled him to that?
Well, two things, really. First, this deep realization that he never wants to ask what if in life. He didn't want that regret. And second, his partner gave him this amazing advice. You need to give yourself permission to be a beginner. Just allow yourself to suck at first.
Permission to be a beginner. I like that.
Yeah, and embracing that awkward phase, noticing the tiny steps forward, the incremental progress that becomes the drug that keeps you going. Those little wins, they're everything. Motivation and proof all rolled into one. It flips vulnerability into just like part of the process.
That connects really well to the next idea, curiosity of experience. He uses a coffee shop analogy, right?
It's simple but effective. He says, look, you wouldn't meet someone new in a coffee shop and decide after 5 minutes if you like them or not, would you?
Probably not, no.
Right. You give it time. Same with new experiences. Don't judge too fast. Let them unfold. It's about choosing courage, choosing confidence, actively seeking out the unfamiliar. Because your potential isn't capped by what you already know. It's as big as your imagination, if you're willing to explore.
But then there's the flip side, complacency, a true sickness. He doesn't pull punches there. Comfort isn't just safe, it's toxic. Like a participation trophy that stops you learning from failure. That story about his baseball coach making them throw away the trophies, wow. Brutal, but effective.
Teaches you that failure is real, right? You can't avoid it, you have to learn from it.
Which connects directly to his own experience in the mortgage industry. He was making good money, comfortable, but not even the slightest bit happy or fulfilled. It wasn't his purpose.
Classic comfort trap.
And that decision to leave, that was him choosing courage over complacency, even though it was probably terrifying.
Absolutely. Which leads perfectly into growth hacking failure. He basically says, yeah, failure feels bad, it's uncomfortable, but it's manageable. And the more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. It's a cycle.
Okay, so how do you hack it? Is there a system?
There is. A simple 3-step system. First, switch the lens. Start seeing failure not as an endpoint, but as a source of lessons. Eye-opening experiences.
Change your perspective.
Got it. Second, don't take it personally. Get your ego out of the way. He mentions Tiger Woods. Apparently, Woods had this 10-step rule.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
After a bad shot, he'd let himself be mad for exactly 10 steps. Then, it's over. Move on. Don't dwell.
Disciplined. Okay, step 3.
Most important one. Uncover your lesson and adjust. The real secret isn't avoiding failure. It's digging into it, figuring out what went wrong, and tweaking your approach. That's how you progress.
So failure isn't final, it's fuel. It can actually push you to try like 10 times harder next time.
Exactly. It's temporary.
And pushing past discomfort. That really comes through when he talks about separate yourself from familiarity.
Yeah.
We touched on his Europe trip earlier, but he calls it the most influential decision of his life. Why is the throwing himself into the unknown so critical?
Because it was a total crash course, removing all the familiar stuff. It forced him to confront his own negative beliefs, things he didn't even know were holding him back. And by navigating all that uncertainty, he built real confidence, real intention. He figured out who he was when everything else was stripped away.
And he mentions people calling you crazy or irrational when you make big leaps like that.
Right. But again, he flips it. He says that negativity is actually an indicator that you're doing something right. It's like an extra kick in the ass and a couple ounces of fuel. Confirmation, you're pushing boundaries.
Okay, that brings us right into part 3. Intentional living choices as building blocks. So where it all comes together, right? Making conscious choices, designing your life.
Precisely. It's about recognizing your choices empower you. And a huge part of living intentionally is the power of routine. Routines aren't just about getting stuff done. They're vital for growth, both personal and professional. They help you win the day.
But routines can get stale too, right?
Oh, yeah. He warns against that complacency. If your routine feels boring, find a new beat to jive to. Mix it up. He really highlights the morning routine, though. Says it sets the tone for everything, creates a positive compound effect.
Compound effect. How does that work with routines?
Think about making your bed. Super simple task, right? Yeah. But doing that one small thing can actually motivate you to tackle the next thing and the next. It builds momentum.
Ah, okay. Like small wins stacking up. Does he share his own routine?
He does. About 45 to 60 minutes of exercise first thing, then some me time, maybe free writing, working on a personal project. But he gives general tips too, like set boundaries, maybe no phone first thing, incorporate a little ritual you enjoy, like making coffee. And the big one, be consistent. Because, as he says, repetition creates an atmosphere full of habits. You're building an environment for success.
That makes sense. Consistency is key. And speaking of building your internal world, he gets into thoughts are energy. That quote, your thoughts are energy and your intentions create your reality. That's pretty profound.
It is. And he backs it up with that Jim Carrey quote, which I think is brilliant.
Oh, sandwich one?
Yeah. Visualization works if you work hard. That's the thing. You can't just visualize and go eat a sandwich. Action has to follow intention.
So true. Okay,
Yeah.
So how do we train our minds then? Like a muscle?
He gives 6 ways, like mental reps. Starting the day with affirmations, finding gratitude even when things suck, turning failures into lessons. We talked about that. Practicing positive self-talk, like nourishing your internal ecosystem.
Good.
Surrounding yourself with positive people, they literally form the atmosphere you live in. And maybe the hardest one for some, letting go of perfection. He calls it dangerous, a recipe for overthinking. Says, imperfection is normal.
Letting go of perfection. That's a big
It's
one.
huge, because ultimately, mindset matters. The negative thinking literally closes your brain off, stops you seeing possibilities, reaching your potential. You block yourself.
And part of that positive atmosphere is the people around you. Cultivate valuable relationships. That old saying, your network is your net worth. But he takes it deeper, doesn't he? It's about quality.
Exactly. It's not just collecting contacts. He looks back at his backpacking trip again. Feeling lonely forced him to intentionally build connections. He saw every person as an opportunity, not for what he could get, but just an opportunity to connect. And that led to deep bonds.
So how do you cultivate those deep bonds? Any strategies?
5 key things. 1, give without expecting anything back. Generosity builds goodwill. 2, genuinely show others you care. He calls it a trophy quality. People remember that. 3, find common ground and grow together. Creates that teammate feeling, a shared North Star.
Okay.
4, connect even if you don't see an immediate what's in it for me. You never know where it might lead, maybe an unexpected friendship, or maybe you just help someone else out. And 5, contribute equally. Relationships need balance to thrive. It's a two-way street.
That leads nicely into choose your atmosphere, defining your lifestyle. He says lifestyle is the combination of your behaviors, interests, and opinions that make up an atmosphere that promotes your most desired way of living. That's a mouthful, but it's powerful.
It really is. It's about consciously designing your environment, internal and external. And a key part of that is giving yourself permission to think like the person you want to become.
What does that mean exactly?
Like, if you want to be a writer, start thinking like a writer now. If you want to be a speaker, think like a speaker. Embody that identity.
Ah, okay. So it influences your actions.
Totally. It leads to practical things like carving out time for your craft,
Yeah.
Or valuing simple things like going for walks. He mentions Snoop Dogg asking Evan Goldberg about walks, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It also connects to work-life integration, realizing personal growth fuels professional growth and vice versa. They aren't separate buckets.
And making those choices intentionally involves steps too.
Yeah, prepare yourself to choose. Always remember your why. Weigh the outcomes and consequences, and then this is crucial. Always follow through with your choice. Commit.
Okay, bringing it all home.
Wow.
Build your system and habits.
Yeah.
This feels like the engine that drives everything else.
It really is. And he kind of dismisses those fixed ideas like it takes 21 days or whatever.
Wow.
He says forming a real habit takes heart, discipline, passion, basically every ounce of you.
So it's not about a magic number of days.
Not at all. Habits are the building blocks, the system we all must build to reach our goals. It's about the structure you create.
And he has steps for building that system too.
4 strategic steps.
Wow.
It's more of a mindset, really. First, ask the right questions, like what impact will this habit have? What old habit is it replacing? Second, incorporate the habit. Take that leap of faith, ease into it maybe, but commit. And he adds, don't give up because you deserve this shit. Direct quote.
Love that.
Oh.
Okay, third.
Understand how the habit serves you. Knowing the benefit helps you push through, even when you get comfortable or bored. And fourth, the absolute secret ingredient, repetition.
Repetition. Again.
Yes, he stresses. Focus on repetition, not perfection. Chasing perfection sets you up to fail. Just keep showing up. Consistent effort over flawless execution. That builds the system.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey through this book. From awareness to stepping out of comfort zones to living with intention. It really feels like a roadmap.
It absolutely is. Applying these lessons, even just starting with one pillar, can genuinely lead to huge shifts in your life.
Definitely.
So the encouragement for you listening is to just take the bits and pieces from this discussion that really landed for you. Use them as your own personal guide to begin walking your own path. Your journey won't look exactly like Tarver's or anyone else's. These are tools to empower your transformation.
That's great advice. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. You're a student learning all this, but you're also a teacher. Take these ideas, awareness, comfort zones, intentionality, and spread these words like wildfire. Share what resonated with you. Think about the infinite ripple effect you could create just by empowering someone else with these insights. Have faith in yourself, believe you deserve it, and be your own biggest cheerleader. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into self-discovery.